everyone, my name's Naureen. I am an optometrist. I studied optometry at City University. It's a 3-year course. Once you're finished with that, you then go out and find a job that allows you to work under supervision. So somebody who's a fully qualified optometrist checks over what you're doing for a whole year, and then once you sit your final exams, you can then be a fully qualified optometrist, just like your supervisor was, and you can go and work in practice. So you can work either in private practice or you can work in a hospital setting. There's very few optometrists that work in hospital setting. The bulk of us, probably 95% of us, will work in high street retail. So opticians like Specsavers and Vision Express and Boots and wherever else that you go to get your eyes tested. So that's what we do. Day to day, I will test eyes. So I check that somebody, whether they need glasses or not, and if they do, what the prescription should be in those glasses. So that's what we're doing. We're checking the letters behind me. Then I'll check the health of the eyes just to make sure that there's nothing untoward going on. So it's fairly varied. You can work full-time, so you can work 5 days a week, or you can work part-time, whatever works with your schedule. I initially was working full-time, and then I had a little boy, so I took some time off, and then I slowly went back into practice and started to work full-time again. But it makes no difference. You can do as few or as many days as you like. It's a normal day as well. We don't do night shifts and stuff, so it's a general 9 to 5 day, which is quite nice because you do end up having a real human life outside of work. So I can still drop my little boy to nursery, and I can go and pick him up when he's done and all the rest of it. So that's quite nice too. In terms of my work otherwise, yes, pre-coronavirus things were a little different, but now obviously you can see I'm wearing scrubs now. That's very different now. We have to wear PPE for every one of our patients. I have to clean everything behind me off between every patient as well, so that's a little tedious, but maybe things will change. But even if they don't, it's not that bad because we've had to then reduce the number of patients we see, so that's quite nice too. In terms of the work that I do, I absolutely love the flexibility, the fact that I can work part-time. And it's nice because I can see the difference that I make in people's lives. I have to say the hardest thing about my job, though, is actually managing people's expectations. So that's things like people coming in and saying, do you know, I can't see, I don't know, the crossword that I'd like to do on a Sunday paper. But actually they're quite elderly and they might have a problem with their eyes, and actually even the best glasses in the world won't help them see any better. But then there's always a silver lining to that, because even if I can't fix them, often I can send it off to the hospital where they potentially might need like a cataract surgery or something. And once they've had that done, their vision's brilliant. So peaks and troughs, but it's just about making sure that we can do the best for everybody that comes through the door and be able to get them to see as well as they can possibly see. It is very important in terms of the kind of work that we do, because it falls under frontline health. So throughout this whole pandemic, for example, I've worked, because if I wasn't open and if I couldn't see these patients, these people would end up in the hospital where they didn't have the capability or the space to be dealing with sort of minor eye conditions, as they call it. So the kind of work that I do means that I can detect a lot of disease when I do the health side of the eyes. So I can see stuff like diabetes, I can see stuff like, I don't know, high blood pressure, cancers, strokes that are possibly in the making. So that I think is quite important in terms of being able to save somebody from having a bigger problem later on down the line. My most magical moment, to this day I haven't forgotten it. It was a small boy, he was about 6, and he was quite mischievous at school. And they were double checking him across the board for behavioural issues. They thought possibly he might have some kind of issue. He never really focused at class, he never really listened to anybody, and there was lots of stuff going on, and they were checking lots of things. But one of the things that the GP, their doctor, asked for was just a routine eye test, just to tick the box to say that it had been done. It transpired actually he couldn't see very well at all. We made his glasses up and he was messing around on the shop floor, and I said, okay, stop for a second, just put these glasses on and let me just check that they fit. And he put them on, and in the moment he just stopped in his tracks and he looked around with his eyes wide open and he said, oh wow, I've never been able to see that before. And you looked at his mum, and his mum was just in tears, and the lady who was fitting the glasses was in tears, and I was in tears, and it was all very magical. And I still see that little boy today. He comes and he's about He's about 14, 15 now, and he's so lovely, and that's all it was. He was just acting up because he couldn't see. So it just goes to show how amazing the kind of work we can do if we put our mind to it. If anybody has any questions, your teacher can always write to me and I'll happily answer anybody's questions. I hope I've given you a little bit of an insight into what I do.